afraid of the monster by my side. He wants to be your friend, and he's really oh so kind. He's learning about the human world and how to get along. So join right in and sing along with me in the Boink Show song. He's Boink.
Hey, Boink.
Kindness is his way. He's Boink.
Hey, Boink.
He's got something to say. He's Boink.
Hey, Boink.
It's time to start the show. So sit right down and listen to the things you need to know.
Welcome to the Boink Show.
Hi, I'm your host, Boink, and I'm here with my co-hostesses with the mostesses, Kaitlyn and Avery. You guys say hi?
Hello.
Yeah, welcome to the show. We have a special guest. Can you introduce our guest?
Andrew Kaehr.
Andrew Kaehr is here with us.
Hi.
Andrew
Hi,
Kaehr,
Boink.
would you explain to us what your job is, what you do?
Well, so my job is to be a marriage and family therapist. That's what I do.
Therapist.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that?
So I kind of help people with their feelings,
Ooh.
like a doctor might help somebody with a broken leg.
Wow. And
Yeah.
yeah. Never thought of it that way, getting help with your feelings, but feelings can be very complicated.
They can be. It's true.
Yeah. Do you guys have some questions for Andrew?
So what do some people have trouble with emotions?
Some
Yeah, they
people
must if they
do.
need a therapist, I guess.
It's true. It's true. Feelings can come from really big places, and sometimes feelings feel really big, like this big, not like this big, but like really, really big sometimes. And when they have really, really big feelings, sometimes they need help with the words to talk about how they feel. So that's where I come in. So
Wow.
if you are feeling really, really mad, and you might want to roar really loud or
Yeah.
scream really loud, what
Yeah.
I might do is help you figure out how to talk about that instead of screaming really loud.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What other questions do you guys have based on that? Anything?
Are emotions dangerous or wrong to
Ooh,
feel?
emotion's dangerous.
Yeah, I think sometimes people don't talk about them because they might think that, right?
It's true, it's true. So sometimes emotions can feel really big and can feel really dangerous, but it's the way that we express those emotions that is safe or not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Avery? Have you ever had any really big emotions? Can you name some emotions, maybe? What's one emotion you can think of?
Mad.
Yeah? You felt mad before?
Yeah.
What does it feel like to feel mad, Avery?
Mm.
Did you look
Feel
like
like
Boink?
feel like curling up my fist. Have you ever been mad at me?
No.
Well, that's good.
I haven't.
How about Kaitlyn? What emotions can you think of?
We'll get really scared.
Scared.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
that's a
really
good one.
scared.
I get scared of the dark sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I get scared sometimes too.
And really big dogs.
Really big dogs? Like how big?
Like if they're as big as me.
As big as you? I would be afraid of a dog as big as you too, Boink.
Yeah.
That would be very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah?
What about you guys? What are you afraid of?
Um,
Like a fear is a really powerful emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like it drives a lot of what we do, don't you think?
It's true. We do a lot of things when we're afraid that may not make the most sense when we're not feeling afraid.
Yeah. How do you, any advice for dealing with fears?
Oh yeah, for dealing with fears.
Especially
Well,
if you're a kid.
True if you're a kid. That's right. Sometimes if you're a kid, you're still learning how to talk about your feelings, and some adults are still learning how to talk about their feelings too. And so if you're afraid, the best thing that you can do is to find a grown-up, like a parent or a
Yeah.
teacher, and tell them what you're afraid of. Or even if it doesn't make any sense, you can say, I'm scared and I don't really know what I'm scared of. Can you help me figure that out? And adults can be
great.
really good at helping you figure out how you feel.
Ah, yeah. That is pretty good.
yeah, like in books like thrillers. Sometimes
yeah.
you can get really scared of that, and like I read a thriller once, and I got like a really bad feeling about the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, that can be kind of scary. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, sometimes, what are some other things that you find people can get scared of that they often don't like to talk about? Is it like just their fears of like, the dark or nightmares they have, or are there some other things in their life where they just don't feel, they feel unsafe, or what do you think?
That's true, Boink. Well, what I see a lot of young people, especially kids, getting afraid of is like if their mom and dad leave for a long period of time, they might be worried that their mom and dad might not come back.
Oh,
And that may not be true. It just might
Right.
mean that they're worried about it.
yeah, well, there's some really real fears. I mean, like sometimes their mommy and daddy, they get divorced, or there's problems in the house and stuff like that. That can be really tough to deal with as a kid. What do you recommend to those kids to do?
It can be. It can be really tough. What I recommend is for those kids to do their best to try and find another adult that they might be able to talk to. And even if they needed to come see somebody like me, or maybe they can talk to their teacher, or maybe they can talk to an aunt or a grandparent.
Yeah.
The most important part about feelings is recognizing that they are just feelings and that they kind of come and go.
Yeah.
You may not always feel scared, even if you feel scared right now.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I know that sometimes you can't control what happens to you, and you can't control your feelings, but you can control your reaction, right?
Right.
And reaction is our word of the day. Let's say word of the day.
Word of the day!
Okay, so what is reaction? What does that mean?
So how you react to something might mean if somebody pretends like they're going to maybe flip your ear.
Oh,
And they might do it once.
that kind of tickles.
And then if I came in again, because you had that experience of me flipping your ear, you might back up exactly
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, because you have this experience
Okay.
or something that you've been through. You
Yeah.
might say,
if you've
"Ooh."
been hurt before,
Exactly.
you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Right. Like if Kaitlyn pushed Avery on the swing and she fell off, would Avery want to let Kaitlyn push her again? No,
Probably not, huh?
not. That's a
Yeah.
reaction.
Yeah.
And are there I don't know, what's your advice on reactions?
Well-
Because that's something we can control a lot of times.
Yeah. Boink, can I talk a little bit about where feelings are stored in the body and where they come from?
Oh, I'd love to hear about
Is that okay? Yeah.
I thought they were down here in my heart.
Well, sometimes that's true, because actually on the smallest level, were you talking about atoms at one point? I think you've talked about atoms.
We had a
before on
joke
the show.
before the show. We were talking about
was it the
atoms.
joke? Okay.
We should tell that joke. You
Right.
want to tell that joke?
Do you remember the joke?
No, I don't think I remember.
I don't remember.
It was. Let's see.
Oh, I know.
The scientist. Yeah,
Why was the scientist?
he didn't trust.
Why didn't he trust atoms?
Yeah, why didn't the scientist trust atoms?
I don't know. Tell me, Kaitlyn.
Because they made up everything.
They make up
They
everything.
make up everything. That's true. Well,
So
feelings
atoms
can-
have something to do
yeah.
with this, right?
Exactly. So feelings can sometimes be like, if you were to try and see a feeling, you couldn't see it. But
No.
if we had a microscope, you know what a microscope is, Boink?
Yes.
Yeah, so if we had a microscope, I could actually show you, if we took a microscope and put Boink's head under a microscope, this thing is in his head, right? It's called the brain,
Yeah, my brain.
right? In between his ears, right?
That's
Right
why I
there.
have such a big head, by the way.
That's true, because you
It's
have a big brain.
brain.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's another good joke.
Yeah.
You should save that one for later.
Actually, that wasn't a joke.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah, but if we took a microscope
That was a joke.
and showed Boink's brain,
Okay, my
I
brain.
could show you what happiness looks like.
You
Because
could.
happiness is a really, really small little thing. It's called a chemical. And it flows through your body when you're feeling happy. And the thing about feelings is they're kept in the same place in Boink's brain. So if Boink feels happy, it's kept in the same place in his brain as where his memories are stored.
Ooh.
So if Boink remembers a happy time that he had, maybe with you two or on the show or with another guest,
Yeah.
the happiness comes with the feeling, with the memory in pairs, right? This is a pair, right? Two fingers is a pair.
With the memory.
Happiness comes with the memory.
Whoa.
Just like if you feel sad, when you think about having a sad experience or a sad memory, you'll feel sad too. They come together. They're like a package deal.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Do you guys think about that? Does that surprise you or shock you? It's kind of interesting to think about how memories
Yes.
relate to sadness. They can relate to fear. They can relate to anger. All that stuff.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what? Now that you told us all that, where they come from, how does reaction come into it?
So, if you feel like you're reacting to something that makes you feel scared, you might think about an experience or a memory that you had when you were scared.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So then the reaction is you feel more scared when you think about the experience that you had before.
Okay.
I know, it's kind of tricky, isn't it?
I see. I'm
Yeah.
following though.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then you kind of wrap up your fear from that memory with the fear you're feeling in the current situation.
Exactly.
So then what happens?
Well,
You get even more scared?
Have you ever read a book before, Boink?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've read books before. How about you, Kaitlyn Avery? Have you read books
Yes.
before?
Kaitlyn
I
is a
love reading.
prolific reader.
Kaitlyn is a
Avery's
good
reading a
reader.
lot now
Yeah.
too.
Exactly. So sometimes books are called stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if we feel scared, sometimes we tell ourselves stories about what's going to happen when we feel scared, right? So you've read stories about there being monsters and maybe somebody was running away from a monster and you were worried about what would happen.
Not the
if-
Boink kind of monster.
No,
the
not the
scary
Boink
kind of
scary.
monster.
You're not scary, Boink. No, the
Thanks.
scary, scary monsters that are maybe like pink and not blue like
They
Boink.
come out of the shadows.
Right, they
That's
come
why
out
I'm
of the
afraid of the
shadows.
dark. You know.
That's true.
They're scary.
Exactly.
You live in the closet.
Oh, you
But
But
do?
you have a
Dark in
light
there.
on there. You
That's
don't think
true.
I turn a light on when I go to sleep in the closet sometimes?
Yeah.
Come on, silly. I'm not. I'm afraid of the dark.
Are you really afraid of the dark?
I am.
Yeah, because you can't see what happens in the dark, right?
Yeah, I don't have good eyesight in the dark.
Yeah.
Some monsters do. But not me. Anyway, so yeah, you know.
Remember how we were talking about your brain, Boink?
Yeah.
And sometimes in your brain, you start to tell yourself a story about what will happen in the dark, right? And then you start to think about this other thing that happened to you maybe when you were in the dark, and then you get a little bit more scared.
Yeah.
And all of those things might be because you're telling yourself a story where bad things happen in the dark.
Wow.
Right?
So do we just learn to not believe the stories?
Sometimes we have to recognize what's true and maybe what isn't true about our feelings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I
even-
could think of a good example with the girls.
Yeah?
Sometimes the girls do fight a little bit. Did you know that?
No.
Yes.
These two?
They're sisters. But you know what? I think like one time you were fighting and you were saying how you didn't think Kaitlyn liked you, or Kaitlyn, you didn't think Avery liked you. You were telling yourself a story that might not have been true in your head just because you had one little fight about a toy. So that's important to remember, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you guys have any other questions for Andrew? He's really smart, isn't he?
Well, you're pretty smart too, Boink.
Well, I just
'Cause you
like
have such
to
a big
ask a lot of
brain.
questions. Well, yeah, yes, thank you. I just like to ask a lot of questions, and
It's
that
good
makes
to
me
ask
seem
questions.
smart.
That's okay. It's good to ask questions.
Do you have a question, Avery? What do you think of all what he's been saying?
You have
You do
another? Did you say you have another joke?
Yes.
Oh, let's
it-
do a joke of the day.
Is it funny?
Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Joke of the day! All right, this is our official joke of the day. What do you got?
Here we go.
What did the pirate say when he turned 80?
What did the pirate say when he turned 80? I don't know.
Aye, matey.
I'm 80. How do you say it? You have to say it with a
I-
pirate accent.
Aye, matey.
It's like sounds like he's saying I'm 80 as
matey.
in like his mate, but he's saying I'm 80. You know, it ruins a joke when you try to explain it. I've learned.
does.
Oh well. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show to talk about feelings and emotions and how to deal with them. Do you guys feel better equipped to handle your emotions? If you get scared or angry?
Yep.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I didn't know if we do that. You've accomplished a lot today, Andrew.
Thanks for having me, Boink. It was
All right,
fun.
it was great. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
What did the elevator say to the other elevator? I think I'm coming down with something.
What do you call a T-Rex's vehicle that has a flat tire?
A T-Rex's vehicle that has a flat tire. I don't know. What do you call it?
A flat Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Love it.
What did the wall say to the other wall? I'll meet you in the corner.
Hi, everybody. I'm back. Today we are with my friends Rebecca and Simon.
Thanks, Kaitlyn. Hello, my name is Rebecca, and I'm with an organization called AMAZEWorks, and we provide anti-bias curricula, training, and consultation for schools, communities, and organizations. And I have brought with me today my friend Simon, who would like to visit with you and get to know you. He's a little bit shy. Does anyone else ever feel shy in situations? Yeah, in news sometimes. Yeah, so he's a little bit shy today, but he wants to share a little bit about who he is and get to know you all. So, Simon is from the Lower Sioux Band of Dakota, and he lives on the Lower Sioux reservation. And he lives with his mom, his 2 grandparents, his 2 aunts, and his uncle. So can you imagine living with such a big family? He loves it. It's great to be surrounded by family, yeah. Oh, well, who do you live with?
Well, I live with my siblings and my mom and dad.
Your siblings and your mom and dad? How many siblings do you have?
2.
2.
I live with my mom and dad and my 2 rats and Gizmo and my sister.
Wonderful. So your big family includes all of your pets too, right? Yeah.
I have one pet.
You do?
Yeah, it's a cat.
A cat, awesome. Yeah, animals are definitely part of a family, aren't they? Well, Simon has a very special relationship with his grandpa. And he and his grandpa like to do lots of things like take long walks in the woods, and sometimes they'd like to just sit and be quiet together. And he really looks up to his grandpa. And if you notice that Simon has long braids, and he is trying to grow his hair out just like his grandpa, because having long hair for men is part of his Dakota culture. So that's really important to him. And some of the things that Simon likes to do, we already talked about how he likes to go for long walks in the woods, but he also likes to eat venison with his family. Does anyone know what venison is?
No, I don't know.
Venison is deer meat. Yeah. Oh, that's right, deer meat, exactly. Wow. Simon kind of felt that way when he first was introduced to venison, but his grandma makes really good fried venison, and that's now one of his favorite foods. And he was very brave to try new foods. Yeah, he wants to know, if you like to try new foods? Do you like to try new foods?
Yes.
Yes.
I remember when I was little, I used to think I didn't want to try pizza.
Oh, really?
What?
But now I bet you really love pizza, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to be a little brave to try new things, but it's great because then we get rewarded with wonderful things like fried venison and pizza, right? Yeah. So Simon wanted to share too that he's very proud of himself today. Yeah. He's proud of himself because he helped his grandma unload the groceries from the car yesterday. And that was a big deal for him. Usually he's got, all of his big family to help out with the groceries, Yes, Clara.
How old is Simon?
How old is Simon? Simon is 4 years old. Yeah. And so, he helped his grandma carry each bag one by one from the car to the kitchen, and then he helped unpack the groceries. So he put the milk in the refrigerator and the rice on the shelf. And he felt very proud of himself for helping out, and nobody asked him. He just volunteered on his own. Well, he wants to know if you ever help out your family or maybe your friends in any ways. Can anyone think of an example of when you helped? Yes?
I help with my friends.
How do you help with your friends?
I don't know, but I just do.
Oh, you just do? Okay.
Sometimes in the morning I would take out the dishes from the dishwasher. Mm-hmm. And also some nights I put the dishes in the dishwasher.
That's great. Don't you feel proud of yourself when you help out? Yeah, absolutely. So Simon just wants to share that it's really good to remember our helping hands, and because we know that even though it's hard sometimes, or even though we don't like doing it in the moment, it actually makes us feel pretty good about ourselves, right? Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing your time with Simon, and he hopes to come back and visit. And I think, he feels less shy now around you, so thank you very much.
How many emotions can you name? Happy, sad, angry, surprised, afraid, disgusted. Oh, you might feel any or all of these emotions in just one day, maybe 1 hour. But what's important is knowing that they're all natural to feel. Everyone feels them at some point. And you can cry or laugh or be afraid if you want to. By sharing how you feel with a caring adult, they can help you deal with your emotions in a healthy way. You never have to keep your feelings locked away or feel afraid to tell somebody how you feel. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Storee Laydee, and I have a story for you, and it's called The Flea Market. Flea Otis wore tights the color of chartreuse, and a tiny pair of Bite Right canvas tennis shoes. His cape was red, pink, green, and every color in between. He could leap miles and he packed a mighty bite. That was the nature of his swiftness and his appetite. Some called him Flea while others called him Pest. Flea Otis was not always a welcome guest. He was a pesky old critter who wanted to open a business to provide his customers itching relief. Instead, he caused trouble beyond belief. He decided that he wanted a market with special supplies. He needed lots of space for his fleas, critters, and flies. Buster was chosen because he was a gigantic Burmese. He was perfect for the mites, the flies, and the fleas. Soon the flea market was open and Otis had the most special supplies, the ones that cause meows, whimpers, barks, screams, and cries. The market was smelly, dirty, moldy, not fit for a goat. Oh, but the flea market was nestled deep beneath Buster's shabby fur coat. Otis loved the warmth and the humidity far too much to mention. Only he knew that the cats and dogs would never get flea prevention. Bugsy's French accent was difficult for the customers to believe, so he wore a red beret and a mustache to try to deceive. Nonetheless, Bugsy was the shop's best employee. He loved the flea market's motto, buy one and get one flea. Abigail was a tiny tick, a few ounces in weight, but her clingy personality determined the customer's fate. She told stories of deer ticks that caused anxiety and fear. Soon she earned the Lyme disease sales clerk of the year. Elizabeth was an employee that everyone could trust. She wore a red and white bow and a black sweater covered in dust. There were cozy beds, mats, and flea-filled cots. It was much easier for the fleas to cause itching and bare spots. The flea market had items that were sure to appease, but the powders and the oils and the grooming shampoos were made of unhappy remedies. The customers came to buy remedies over and over again, but they had no idea that their problems would never, ever end.
Thanks for watching today's show.
Yeah, everybody, we really appreciate it. Now, if you love this episode and you'd like to attend a show taping or send us a video of yourself telling a joke, we'll use it in our next show. Just let your mommy or daddy know and contact us at iamboink.com or at the City of Egan TV. And we've got the website up right there and the email address. But we just want to let you know, we want you to be part of the show too. Right, Kaitlyn?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Boy, that sure sounds good.